have 2 lessons learned today. And I'm hoping that I can just really boil it down to these 2, and everyone can walk out of this room thinking to themselves, I'm taking at least one of these 2 things away. Before I jump into that, I want to ask a question. This was the beginning, the 2 lessons learned. Check. Next slide. Why are we here? Why are you here? Why are all the volunteers here? Why am I here? Well, let's think about it from your perspective. Why are you here? Are you here for the fraternity? Are you here because if you recruit more people, then we're going to have a bigger national organization? Are you here because some of your friends joined? Well, what I want to talk about today and put in the 2 lessons learned in context of is why you're here for yourself. What can you take away from this experience that's going to translate into you being more successful in your career, in your life, after you get done with your senior year? Let's flip the question. Why am I here? Why are all the volunteers here? Well, let's take a few things off the list. None of us are being paid, including me. And all of us have something else to do on a Saturday than this. But we're really excited to be here because we know, and all of us who have graduated understand why it is so important to buy into SigEp and what values this fraternity can offer you that will truly transition your life and help you get to where you want to be a hell of a lot faster if you weren't in this organization. And that's why I'm excited to be here, because I've seen it just 10 years out in college, from college. This is a little representation of that why are you here? Because in some context, being selfish isn't the worst thing in the world, because when you're an undergraduate, the best time and investment you can make is in yourself. As you're learning and going through college, going through what you're going through, if you can help yourself first, you're going to be able to exponentially help others faster. So remember, oxygen mask first on you before it goes to your infant. So let's talk about the 2 top lessons learned. I'll give you a preview of what this is going to look like. The first one, we're going to talk about perseverance. And the second one, we're going to talk about how one of the core areas of this fraternity has translated unbelievably well for me over the past 12 years. So now we're on to perseverance. The left-hand side, what does it say? Hang in there. I love successories. Who's aware of successories? I feel like it was an 80s and 90s thing. Successories was people taking like canned terms and putting somebody like putting a flag on the moon and then having the word perseverance at the bottom. I love the fact that they did that, but I truly feel like it took the value away from these buzzwords. So when I think about perseverance, I think about it 2 ways. I definitely don't think about the way where you're just hanging in there and you're going through a tough time and you're gonna make it out, don't worry. I look at perseverance as what it takes and what the actual track is to see success on every category of your life, personally and professionally. Because when I'm thinking about perseverance, I know that your plan looks like that. We'll think about that in the context of a couple things. All right, perfect. The fraternity can come up with a BMP app. Everybody's going to use it. Then everybody's going to become a better person. And now everyone's going to come out of college and be a better person. Awesome. That's the top over there. Finance. Everybody's going to be able to pay the dues. Don't worry about it. Nobody's going to be put on a payment plan. Academics. Everybody's going to have over a 3.0, right? So we're thinking about this definition of success. What is success? What is accomplishment? And time again, and this is something I want you to really take home this weekend, is that success doesn't look like that. When you're in your rooms this afternoon, and when you've been in these rooms this morning and last night, you need to understand that part of your achievement, part of your growth, and part of your development is going to be perseverance, which is when things seem to suck, nobody wants to come to chapter, some people are struggling with grades. That is the time where it's your opportunity as a leader and why you're in this room to persevere through that and have a story to tell when you graduate. Because if you're able to get through that type of conflict and that type of struggle between the age of 18 and 21, I can tell you 10 to 12 years out in college, you are going to be 50 steps ahead of your competition, and you're going to get that job and you're going to be successful. So keep that in mind every time you think about going to the back of the room and you think about saying, well, this sucks, or this is never gonna work. And understand within each of your designated areas that the perseverance piece, the struggle, the complication, that is where true growth lies. And that's where I want everyone to be positive and stay focused on that. Let's talk about perseverance in the context of the business world, right? We talked about it from your perspective. What is perseverance from the business world? For me, it was graduating in '08 when the stock market went down 60% and going and asking for a job in commercial real estate to a bunch of people I didn't know because I came from Machesney Park, Illinois, and everyone basically telling me to go home. It's having to move to Madison and basically find somebody on Craigslist in a third bedroom after I had been a regional director. You've got the suit, you're ready to go, and then boom, you're living in some like Class C suburban area off the beaten path in somebody's third bedroom, driving a Nissan into a cornfield, making cold calls through the phone book. And just know that that's you right now. You're the leader of these chapters. Selling the fraternity, it's the best thing in the world, and I'm sure of that. From a perception standpoint, nationally, locally, you think it's easy for the people in the room to go through finance and membership development and recruit all these people? It's very important. So now I want to transition from the perseverance piece to one, this is number two. Number two is recruitment. So I started to zoom in and I was like, okay, perseverance is definitely something that's been very resonated and something that's extremely applicable as you as an undergrad going into the real world. This is the second one. The second one is I could never have imagined how much the recruitment process translates into your career and your personal life. When I was an undergrad, it was like, okay, make this big list, call these people. Most of the time, there wasn't a list, or if the list was there, it sucked, or we weren't even thinking about where we could find these people. So I think about the list of recruitment, and I think about how that's something that's completely transitional into the business community. Build the list, make contact, become friends, introduce to others, intro to SigEp, consider for SigEp. So what's the right side of this slide? The right side of this slide is my team's strategic plan in our business. And I was like, oh my God, what I learned in SigEp between 18 and 21, A, helped me get a job, especially when times were tough. What is every company that's in commercial real estate? What's every city I would consider going into? What's every person that I know on LinkedIn that could be connected to those people? What did I do in SigEp to be able to transition my experience into the community? So little did I know, through the recruitment process and through that perseverance, I actually self-taught myself of how to get a job. So that's exciting for the undergraduates in the room to say, wow, there's something you can do now and something you can buy into no matter what segment you're in within your chapter to truly find a skill that is transferable to the real world, not only in terms of using that potential member as your career, but also about how can you take the idea you have, take the sales role you have, whatever major you have, and how can you go through this process to say, we're gonna make the list, we're gonna come up with the prospects, or we're gonna come up with the ideas, we're gonna vet those ideas, we're gonna introduce those ideas to people, we're gonna get buy-in from them and see if they're a good candidate. So that is an excellent thing that I'm hoping everyone can take home. Zooming out here and kind of concluding, we've talked about perseverance, we've talked about recruitment, but what I want to leave you with is this Dave Ramsey quote, which is live like no one else so later you can live and give like nobody else. To me, that's another kind of perseverance like flag moon thing. And then I start to dig in a little bit. I'm like, wow, if you as an undergrad can do something different, if you can say no to going out and getting drunk or something like that, and focus on X, Y, or Z. If you can implement that Balanced Man program or whatever it is, the initiatives you're taking, living like nobody else, I can promise you, is going to enable you to live like nobody else sooner than anybody else. So picture this. You're at a chapter executive, you've got a case study like many of the awards that were just given out, and you have something that you have accomplished as a leader of your organization that has gone through that recruitment process, or you've overcome perseverance. I think the good news for everybody in here is that that is what's going to excel you faster and stronger through that struggle and that commitment. So I challenge everybody this afternoon to really focus in on the lessons, think hard about what this means, but think about it for yourself. Think about how this can impact you in your life coming out of college. So in closing, face challenge head on, embrace struggle, master the recruitment process, but have a blast while you're doing it. This is supposed to be fun. Enjoy it. And in closing, what I want to say is do it on your own terms. Everybody is different. Everybody is born differently. Everybody is raised differently. But there are common languages that we can have as an organization and common themes that we can all agree can make you a more successful person personally and professionally. So I challenge you to do that. I'm very, very pleased that I was given the opportunity to talk to you for a few minutes, and I hope everybody has a great afternoon. Thank you so much.